Here we are in the QBO gym, and this is the place where we have numerous hands-on exercises that simulate real-life scenarios that you may encounter as a bookkeeper. Each month covers a variety of new topics and scenarios, and to make it a little bit easier for you, we break it down into 4 different sections. So if you are a bookkeeper and looking to work on your bookkeeping skills, this is the place for you. And if you would like to do a whole month's worth of these all on your own, be sure to join our free 5-day bookkeeping challenge. All you need to do is click on the link in the description. But let's get into today's exercise, which is being pulled from our June Year 1 Strength Training section, where we really focus on perpetual inventory. At the top here is an animated video to give you an understanding of what you, the bookkeeper, will be doing for your client Craig this month. Below that is an interactive pre-assessment quiz that relates to the video up above. Under that are all of the exercises in this section. And at the bottom here is an optional area where after you have completed all of the exercises in this section, you will unlock some sample marketing posts that you can use on your LinkedIn to share with everyone what you have learned so far. So let's get into today's exercise where we're going to practice recording inventory, sales, and returns. Go ahead and click on that link to have it pulled up for you. I have the exercise here on the right side of my screen, so let's read through our scenario. Craig's new retail items are a hit. Every customer loves something he is offering, and many of them are eager to buy. Mark Cho purchased a dozen keychains and a lawnmower plushie with cash as soon as Craig showed them off. Unfortunately, Mark called Craig the next day to return the plushie and one of the keychains that fell apart. You will need to be in the same session of the sample company that we did the previous exercises in. If you have not completed those exercises, go ahead and click on the link on the top right corner of your screen. That'll take you to the first exercise, complete that one and the one after that, and then come back to this one. They all build on each other, so it's really important to start with that first one. Now, the day after his purchase, Mark had called Craig to return the plushie. It turned out that his nephew really wanted a stuffed Zamboni instead. Craig was happy to return Mark's money in exchange for the lawnmower, which went back into his inventory. One of the keychains Mark bought fell apart, so Craig refunded the money and didn't worry about getting the faulty product back. So let's go ahead and get started with the exercise. First, we need to enter a sales receipt that will both record Mark's purchase from Craig and reduce the available inventory in QBO. So we're going to click on the plus new button and then select sales receipt. Now here is the sample company. I am in the same session of the sample company from the previous exercises, which is why I am on this page. So the plus new button is on the top left corner of the screen. Go ahead and click on that. And then under customers, we're going to select sales receipt. Now in the customer field, we're going to select Mark Cho. So click the down arrow. You can either scroll or type in his name. Once you find it, go ahead and click on his name and his information is going to appear. Now we're going to leave the sales receipt date as is. Of course, in a real life scenario, you would want this to match the date of the actual sale. In the payment method field, we're going to select cash, since that is how he paid for it. So click that down arrow in the payment method field and then go ahead and select cash. We're going to leave the deposit to field as undeposited funds. As you may recall, undeposited funds is used as a holding location or account to collect cash and checks before they physically have been deposited into the bank. However, as Craig continues to sell at farmers markets, he will want to keep cash on hand so that he can make change. This is tracked slightly differently, but will not be covered at this time in this exercise. So cash on hand is a little bit different than using how we're doing it right here, but that's kind of outside of the scope of this exercise. So let's continue filling out the sales receipt. On the first line in the product service field, we're going to select compressed grass clipping keychain. So click into that field right there. I am going to start typing in compressed so that it comes up for me as a result. So once you find it, go ahead and click on it. We're not going to need to put a description, but the quantity here is going to be 12. So click into that, type 12. When you hit the tab key over, you will see that QBO has automatically made the calculation for the amount. In this, the second line, on the product service field, we're going to select lawnmower plushie. So click into that product service field on the second line. Once again, I'm going to start typing in lawnmower so I can easily find it. Once you find lawnmower plushie, go ahead and click on it. Now note that because the sales price was part of the products and services list that we uploaded in one of the previous exercises, the rate or cost for these items in the total cost for each line is automatically populated. They were also set up as non-taxable during the import. For now, don't worry about the sales tax. It's definitely something Craig needs to start thinking about very soon though. So these rates were pre-populated because they were part of that import list that we did in a previous exercise. And then as I showed you, once you put in the quantity and do the tab key over, QBO makes that calculation for the total amount for you. Also remember that because these are inventory products and because you put the quantities on each line, QBO will keep track of how many Craig has sold and will know that he has fewer items available for sale in the future. So this is all complete here. We have now recorded the sale of these items to Mark. So we can go ahead and click on the green Save and Close button. Go ahead and do that. And now that receipt has been saved. All right, so moving into refunds, first we are going to deal with the lawnmower plushie return. For this, you will need to use a refund receipt to put the item back into inventory. So we're going to click on the plus new button and then select refund receipt. So click that plus new button once again. And then under customers, you're going to select refund receipt. Let's go ahead and fill it out. In the customer field, we're going to select Mark Cho. So click that down arrow, scroll, or type his name in. Once you find it, go ahead and select it. You will see his information has appeared for us here. And then we want to leave that default date as is. It's going to default to today. So in that refund receipt date, we're going to leave it. But of course, in real life, you would want this to match the date of the actual refund. In the payment method field, we're going to select cash. So click that down arrow, select cash. In the refund from a field, we're going to select undeposited funds. Now, in a real life scenario, you would likely be returning the cash from cash on hand account, but that's not covered here. As I mentioned earlier, that would be a separate account because he's not depositing all of this money into the checking account. That's not what his intention is. He's keeping it on hand, but that's a little bit different of how that would be tracked or how that would be set up than what we're doing here, but that's outside of the scope of this exercise. So let's go ahead and click into that category or that field right there and then select undeposited funds, which is the last one listed on that list. On the first line in the product service field, we're going to select lawnmower plushie since that is what he is returning. So lawnmower plushie, once you find it, go ahead and select it. Note that QBO will automatically assume the quantity of one and draw from the default sale price listed on the product service to populate the rest of the line, as you can see right here. Entering the product and quantity is very important when dealing with returns of tracked inventory. This form records both that Craig gave Mark some cash back, we can see here, and that there's another unit of lawnmower plushie available for sale, which is showing here. Just recording a payment from Craig to Mark would skip that important inventory tracking step. So because he has returned the plushie and it is able to go back into inventory, this is the process and the type of transaction that we're using because that is what is capturing this type of transaction is capturing those different things. So we are all good here. Let's go ahead and click on Save and Close. I have down here on the bottom, you're going to click on this down arrow and then select Save and Close. You will get this pop-up that just says it was successfully issued. Go ahead and click on OK. Next, we're going to deal with the Keychain Refund. While the plushie was in perfectly good condition and can be resold, the keychain is broken and cannot. In the previous step, you returned Mark's money and added the item back to inventory. Now, however, you need to return Mark's money without adding the keychain back into inventory. For this, we're going to use the expense transaction. So we're going to click on the plus new button and then select expense. The plus new button on the top left corner, click on that, and then under vendors, select expense. When it comes up, we're going to go ahead and fill it out. In the payee field, we're going to select Mark again. So click the down arrow, scroll down until you find him. You need to scroll all the way down. As you can see, the vendors are listed first and then customers are listed next. So scroll all the way down. Of course, you can always type his name in and select it once you find it. In the payment account field, we're going to select undeposited funds. Again, normally this would be that cash on hand account. So click the down arrow in payment account and then scroll down to the bottom and select undeposited funds. The payment method is cash once again, so we're going to select that in the payment method field. Click that down arrow, select cash. Once again, that payment date is just going to default to today here in the sample company, but of course you would want to change that to the date of the actual refund made to Mark in a real life scenario. We want to make sure that the reference number field is empty since there is no formal document associated with this transaction. And we're talking about this field right here. So let's go ahead and fill this out. In the first line in the category field, we're going to select retail sales income. So click into that category field. If you want to scroll, you can. I'm actually going to type retail to get that retail sales income account showing up. Go ahead and click on it once you do find it. In the description field, we're going to type broken keychain just so we know what this expense is for. Click into that description field. I'm going to type broken keychain. The amount of that keychain is $4.99. So click into that amount field and type $4.99. And this record Craig's refund to Mark and reduce his total income without further affecting his inventory account. Note that you could technically use the item details grid for the lawnmower return from the previous section. This would reduce the inventory, but it would not truly reflect the scenario of what happened in the way a refund receipt does. And you would do it down in this category if you were going to do that. But again, it doesn't really truly reflect the actual scenario as the same way that that refund receipt transaction does. So we're all good here. We're just going to click on the Save and Close button. That is on the bottom right corner of the screen. Click that Save and Close button. And now that has been saved, and that is how you would record sales and returns. Now, if you like this exercise and you'd like to do more like it, be sure to join our free 5-day bookkeeping challenge. All you need to do is click on the link in the description. If you'd like to continue on, be sure to leave this session of the sample company open as you will need it for the next exercise in the strength training section where we practice recording inventory shrinkage. And I will see you in the next video.